Well, hello. My name is daddy I do an Uber rental, and it's been controversial. I'm going to address some things today because I'm getting comments from people that are calling me names. That's right. daddy is being called names. That's right. It's time for you guys to saddle up and come to daddy defense. No, not really. But I am being called names or being told stuff. I have been told in the past week on videos that I am controversial, that I am brilliant. Got that one a few hours back. I am a scam artist working for Avis and for Uber because I do an Uber rental. So because I talk about that quite often and what I've been able to do with my rental, making money, I have been called that. I have been called Bossmatic. I did a video on that one time. Someone said, I am Bossmatic. Look, all I do, and this is confession day, okay? daddy-o's going to confess a little bit today. So if you're new here, hang on and let daddy-o pour his heart out and confess a little bit today to you guys so you'll know what's going on here. Because I do have a lot of new subscribers, and sometimes they don't get to see everything and know exactly who I am or what's going on, okay? So today is kind of a confession day so that you'll understand. If you watch any of my videos, you'll know who daddy-o is and what he's done in the past and why he knows some things he knows, all right? I'm 72 freaking years old. I'm an old guy working on 73. I have been doing transportation work long before Uber was ever thought of. I have done taxis. I've drove limos. I've done the party buses, the black sedans. I have drove celebrities. I did high-end transportation work long ago. All right. When Uber come along, I needed to make some money. I was down and out. I was in a spot. It was tough times for daddy-o. So I jumped out. I had a Land Rover. I jumped out and started doing Uber. Just like a lot of you guys are out there doing. You're jumping out in whatever vehicle you got. You're jumping out and you're doing Uber. Love that little Land Rover, LR2. Drove it into the ground. I become diamond and gold, platinum, all of that while I had that vehicle. I ragged it out. I drove it into the ground. All right. I ended up going into a Lexus after that one. Hated to get rid of that little Land Rover. It sat over in the corner for the longest time. I just couldn't get myself to get rid of it. Ended up getting $500 for it. That's how bad it got taken down. Jumped into a Lexus. It lasted a while. But I saw I was to tear it up also because you load so many people a year in your back seats in and out of your vehicle. The mileage was racking up. I was doing it again to another vehicle. That's when I stumbled across the Uber rental program. And I jumped out and jumped into a rental program. I've been in that for coming up on 4 years now. I will never drive a personal car. That's why I talk about it sometimes on here. I will never, ever drive a personal car ever to do Uber again. Because I learned that once I got into the rental vehicle, I was able to do things that I was able to do in the high-end stuff before because they put you in a new vehicle. So I figured out a way to make the rental game work for me to make really good money because I still continued to do the things I had done before when I was driving the limos and the party buses and all that. There are things you do before you pick up your group. There are ways you treat that group or those people when you pick them up. And when you learn that at the end of the night, you're going to get a little something laid on you, okay? I carried that into my Uber when I started doing Uber. I started still doing the music, the smell, the clean vehicle. I'm talking too much. I still played the same games I had learned back doing high-end stuff. All right, so, and I learned that, I'm still making good money doing Uber, playing the same things I had done before doing the high-end. And that's why on here I talk about that so much. I talk about the ways that you can play certain things and do certain things once you pick up your people, once you get them in your vehicle, just like I did with the limos, just like I did with the party buses, the black sedans. I do the same things now in my Uber. And by them providing me with a new vehicle to go out and do that in, it's carried on. I'm still making good money. And I've learned over the years that a lot of the people out here doing Uber are just doing the same thing I did when I started doing Uber. I just jumped into my vehicle and said, okay, let's go make some money. And I went out and I was doing a couple $100 a day just doing my own vehicle. This is okay. But slowly that vehicle started having issues and having problems, and I was having to take care of this, and on and on and on, until finally I figured out this is not the way to do Uber. And because I had done the high-end stuff, I was able to go, okay, let's do this and let's go do that too. And let's do the little special things. Now let's talk about it on a personal level. You got to understand who Daddy-O is. My family is a very religious family, very church-oriented people. So my father was a minister. I had one of those mothers that you did the right thing. You said yes, ma'am. You said no, ma'am. You said thank you. May I? You learned your manners at a young age. My son can attest to that because he had to learn it too. So I learned at an early age how to treat people, how to be respectful, and I've carried that on all my life. I still try to do that when I get people in the car. Treat them with respect, treat them with courtesy, talk to them, be kind, helpful if you can. Those are the ways I do my Uber business. All right, and it pays off. Guys, if you're wanting to make money doing Uber, there are certain things that you can do that I try to talk about on here, and I'm being straight up and honest and truthful as I can when I talk about these things. It doesn't matter to me if you do the things I talk about on here. It does not matter. I just know that if I can get the word out on what I have used for so many years to try to help people, if I can just help somebody, and I get comments from a lot of people. And please, if you're an Uber driver and you've had issues, comment. I'll try to answer any questions that I can. I get a lot of comments, but I try to pick out the ones that I feel like need an answer, and I'll answer, or I'll make a video on it. But over the years, I've just tried. I'm trying to. I said it in the video the other day. Before Daddy-O leaves this big old world, pass on some of the knowledge that I've learned. Uber is not hard. It really is not hard. But you got to have a plan to make it work. Or you just go out and do what a lot of us did in the beginning. We just go out and start running runs. Oh, I want to be a gold. I want to be a diamond. You start playing the games that Uber wants you to play. I've learned over the years that I don't play those games. I do Uber the way I want to do it. I pick and choose my runs very carefully. I know a lot of times, because I work a concentrated area that I've talked about in other videos, work your area, know your area, pick you out a good area, high-end areas if you can find one to work. Those are the areas you want to kind of focus on, and don't let Uber take you away from there. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Don't worry about that acceptance rate. Yes, if you get diamond and gold, that acceptance rate, it matters. That's how you keep it. And that's how you rag out your vehicles. And I've got many videos on here talking about why you don't want to do that. You don't want to do the tearing up of your personal vehicles. It doesn't make sense, knowing that I know that I can jump in a brand new vehicle that Uber and Avis is going to supply me with to go out and make money. And I can go out and make more money in their vehicle than I can in my vehicle and not have to worry about a whole bunch of stuff. It's a fact. I'm not the only one that's doing it. There's plenty of comments on my channel here of other people that are doing the same thing that I've done. All right. So when I talk about it on here, it doesn't matter to me if you go do it. It doesn't matter. I'm just telling you what I have done over the years, what's worked for me, what works for other people according to their comments that are agreeing with me. Bossmatic, brilliant, controversial. Yeah, I guess I am kind of controversial sometimes, because I say things and people come right back at me and say, no, that's not right. That's not. But yeah, I can prove it to you. A lot of things I say on here, I can prove it to you. All right. So I'm not trying to hoodwink anyone into believing me. This is just a way of me telling you what I have done and what has worked consistently, continuously for almost 4 years now, I've not been out of a rental vehicle. And if I have to get out of a rental vehicle, I'm done with Uber. So if you ever see the day where all of a sudden you see a video come up, it says something like on the thumbnail, Daddy-O is done with Uber, that lets you know they cut out the rental program. All right. Or I'm fixing to die one. You know, something along that line. I will always drive a rental vehicle, do my Ubering in. I don't care because I make more money. Bottom line. I peeled off the onion, the wrapper on the onion today. All right. I kind of told you why I do what I do, because I get comments from people saying different things. Yeah, you've heard them, so I'm not going to say them again. Almost want to cry about them. Anyway, you guys have a good afternoon, good evening. Daddy-O's out for today, unless I come up with something else or someone gives me a comment that I have to make a video on. Have a good one, guys. Bye.